Next week, the high-stakes world of the North American LCS is hitting the road and heading to Vegas. Tickets are still available to see your favorite pros battle it out at the Mandalay Bay Event Center, but they're going fast. So head over to lolesports.com and reserve your seats. But now, we're going to return to the match at hand, Game 2 between Team Liquid and CLG, to find out who's going to be playing in the finals at the Mandalay Bay Event Center. Game 2, Liquid's coming in with a 1-game lead, but I want to talk about CLG. And Freak, you had mentioned Xmithie being one of the players that you're looking at who's going to have to step up in order for them to come away with a victory.
Yes, so to start things out, right, every team picked blue side when they got a chance, means these teams wanted first pick. And CLG first picked Nidalee, the queen of the jungle, who pressures the early game and takes it over. And none of that happened for Xmithie. He's had some good mid games, but this did not happen here. And compositionally, CLG got into a game where they needed to win early game. They needed to pressure out, and Liquid wanted to scale. Well, Xmithie did none of that. Liquid got to scale. Game over. CLG got out farmed.
Yeah, you see there's 0, 2, and 1 on the Nidalee. So, I mean, it was such a low kill game, so low action. And this is where I come back to you. If we focus in on that jungle matchup, you got Dardoch on the other side, who got the sated Kindred, but we've also seen him make early plays on the likes of Lee Sin or Nidalee as well.
Sure. Yeah, I wanted to highlight the smite choice of both players. I believe Dardoch went for challenging smite, whereas Xmithie went for the ward. It doesn't matter how much vision you have if you can't fight him. So I think it's really smart of Dardoch to get the challenging smite just to fight on his side whenever he needs to. And I would really like to see a double challenging smite if they do go for the damage junglers. Of course, Gragas is a different scenario, but yeah, I really want to see the challenging smites go out and they actually fight, because I don't think I really saw much fighting.
Yeah, that's a very nuanced change, but can definitely tilt the matchup. So glad you pointed it out there. Coming back over to you, Isaiah, what are you looking at in Game 2 that's going to tilt the matchup?
I just think, fair or not, you need to see more out of Darshan if CLG wants to win this game. You know, he went even. It's not like he was severely underperforming or anything, but we need to see Darshan like smashing Lorlo pretty much. We need to see him working well with Xmithie. And honestly, I'd like to see Afro on more of a playmaker. I think that taking Janna away was a good pick from Matt, but if you have to ban Janna, then maybe you have to ban Janna. I mean, I think that Afro is a superstar player. I think that Darshan is a superstar player, and these are the guys that need to take over the game if they want to win. Afro needs to be roaming. He needs to be crushing people on Bard, on Morg, on someone that can make picks and win other lanes.
Right, put your playmakers on playmaking champions. Well, we'll see what CLG has in store for us as we send it over to the casters for Game 2. We're going to take a closer look at Liquid and some of the new faces that have transformed the team.
I never had the chance to be on this level. Like, it's definitely my first chance of being in front of so many people, getting so much attention. I just want to prove that no matter like where you come from, as long as you have the drive to do something, yeah, you can take it as far as you can. For me and Dardoch, even before LCS, we had pretty good scrim results against LCS teams when we were on our challenger team. So yeah, I think that was really like the start of all of our confidence.
I always knew that I was LCS level, like on TLA when we were like the most dominant challenger team that like they've seen since Cloud9. And when I finally got my shot at LCS, I just went off. I couldn't let my nervousness or like my feelings get in the way of that. Like our debut match was against TSM and we performed pretty well. Like it was obviously really sloppy since we threw the roster together the night before, but with the bar was set like right there, we thought we were like we already thought we were top 3.
Maybe we did get like overconfident at the start for the results we were getting, but for how much we've shown, it's not even close to what our potential can be.
I think I started realizing that we were really a really good team after we beat C9 and CLG. We're definitely hungrier than all the other teams. I mean, even though Piglet has won like the world championship, he wants more. Like losing is not an option for him, especially because he knows like how good his team is now. Phoenix hasn't won anything, and then like us 3 rookies obviously haven't won much. We're definitely the hungriest team left.
A lot of hard work and dedication has brought Liquid to this point for another playoff series for what could be now their first title if they get to the finals. It's going to be a difficult task.
Finals too.
Yes.
Yeah, they said it was going to be a 10-man roster, but then these 2 guys subbed in. They just did so well. They're like, you know what? We should probably just chill with this roster. These 5 seem like they're really good together. and it's been working since then.
It's amazing, too, because when we saw Piglet come on as well, there were kind of a lot of core issues, and then for Phoenix and Piglet to be there and then to meld so quickly has been absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and the team has had to kind of find their roles. Those rookies had to change a little bit of their style to play around Piglet and Phoenix, right?
Yeah,
Dardoch
that's
had
true.
to give up a little bit of his farm, his blue buffs over to the mid laner, so it wasn't as much of a carry.
Yeah, I do want to double back to that first game we saw again, though, because the final kill death at the end was 12-1. And there are definitely a lot of things that Team Liquid outplayed CLG on. But in that last fight, if Lorlo's ultimate didn't land perfectly, Stixay may have actually cleaned up that fight. So this series is sitting at 1-0, but that first game was remarkably competitive throughout, even though the kill-to-death score at the end was very lopsided.
Yeah, we actually saw Lorlo playing out of his mind in that last fight. He was stopping the Stixay stack of the Callista because he's stacking it up during the Kindred ultimate. If he's going to rend, what's going to happen? And also, he tried to jump back in. Stixay tried to jump back in afterwards, and he's like, nope, steadfast presence. And he actually stunted the Callista there, and then they all just turned.
Yeah, and with that being said, it does bode well for Team Liquid coming into this game with how the draft played out in the first one. So all of these teams chose, as Freak mentioned, all of these teams chose blue side because they would prefer first pick. And you think of the champions that are worthy of a first pick on this patch. Nidalee is one. Echo could even be another one. Yet, in that last draft phase, CLG got both of them, and they got one on a slow rotation. So I'm really curious now that CLG has less flexibility in the pick and ban phase. It didn't look like Team Liquid had their idealized team composition in that game.
Right? Kindred Karma first pick.
And CLG got a lot of the power pick. So I'm really curious to see how this comes to play in this game too.
Yeah, and when I'm looking at what TL picked, though, Poppy has been Lorlo's best performing champion across the entire split. Every time he gets that champion, you're like, well, he does a lot of damage, he engages, he peels for his team, he basically does everything you want out of a top laner, and then some. So the Echo is a champion that has kind of been coming up in popularity for the damage that it deals as a tank, but not always the peeling factor, and that's what he's doing for his tanks, is he's peeling, or for his carries, is he's peeling for them as a tank.
Yeah, only if Echo can chrono break two people would that play have been
Come back
cool.
with me.
That's right.
Yeah, that would be super balanced. Most balanced.
Grab my hand.
Tom Kench, please.
But here, rookie of the split on your screen, Dardoch looking to help his team get to those finals. Kindred in the first game played it very, very strong. Tried to really be in the face of Xmithie. Freak kind of put it good as well. You get that in Italy, and none of those early game aggression things were able to happen for Xmithie. So it kind of shut down that powerhouse as well, because he has been playing well from the jungle.
Yeah, I also wonder about that because they gave away the Nidalee to pick the Kindred. That just shows confidence there.
Yeah.
You give away one of the highest priority champions in League of Legends in the pick ban phase as a first pick, and
CLG
you're
won't.
completely okay with playing against it.
Yeah, and so far this ban phase still seems like according to plan for Team Liquid. They banned the Gangplank and Graves, two of the stronger champions that Darshan could throw up in the top lane, or the things that would just be good against tanks, really. And I wonder if they're going to go with Tristana as that last ban. I don't. Yep, they do. What is up with that? CLG must have had some good Tristan scrims.
Well, CLG, even when they had double lift, remember it was always kill turrets with Tristana, walk up, boom, 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 take them, because they're so good at that rotational game. Imagine how fast these turrets would go down.
Oh yeah, for sure. But that would have also been true throughout the entirety of the regular season.
True.
Tristana has evaporated from competitive play.
It may excel something where as he went towards the end of the season, goes back to the Twisted Fate, that pressure of knocking turrets down. They just go global really fast and try to make moves even more. With the Trist down, maybe it shuts it right out of the book.
Yep, it does.
Who knows? A lot of speculation. But it is the Echo coming in for Darshan. Xmithie's going to take at least this game. And the Kindred has already been picked up on the side of TL.
Yep, Jungle Pool was a little bit more banned out this game, Nidalee and Gragas, which prompted the first pick. But Team Liquid is making no hesitations with their next two choices.
Yeah, it looks like it might be a triple AD composition coming out here for TL. Of course, they have flexed the core key before, but triple AD carry, you have to think CLG go for Braum for Aphromoo. And when you see this coming, you really want to pick Braum. We saw it in that series over in Europe, that Braum became a huge priority for Mythy.
Yeah, I'm really wondering how CLG adapts to this because Team Liquid will have a lot of wave clear and turret siege and works pretty well around CLG since CLG hasn't been a team to pick really good hard initiation, which is typically what you want to do against the double and triple marksman teams. So just from a straight up draft choice, I'm wondering.
I'm actually...
They go Zed?
Maybe. I'm actually thinking that TL, they flex the core key because they actually want Piglet to have a superior lane matchup. and actually bully Stixay, but that's not going to happen here with the heal bot behind him of Soraka.
Huh. So Soraka did have those mild changes, but many people think Soraka is now more powerful. You have to be a little bit more aggressive, but you get higher rewards if you are successful in your aggression.
And she's more active and very rewarding for it. Oh, seeing that come out here from Aframu, you're talking about seeing him on a playmaker? Well, he's going to be able to stop plays, and then if TL goes over aggressive, it becomes a big problem for them.
The Bard of the Janna, what's it going to be?
Yeah, they can flex the Karma. They can do a lot of different stuff here. That bottom
That's
lane
true.
could go pretty much anywhere.
It's going to be Poppy, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So locking back in the Poppy for Lorlo. And Phoenix is going to be Corki this time. That was banned out last game.
There's really no reason not to. CLG isn't trying to attack Lorlo's champion pool, although I think it is attackable. It's basically Nautilus was his best champion in the regular season, which is nerfed, so not as good. And at that point, you go to Maokai, Echo, and Poppy, and
forget that Gnar.
You can hit those things in the ban phase and push him onto something like Gnar. That would actually be great.
Absolutely.
Maybe that's something we see in a future game if this one doesn't go well for CLG.
Gragas is also up there as well.
True. I think it's attackable. You just have to really invest in it.
We did see it attack during the regular season, and it ended up putting TL on the back foot, but because of the meta shift and even Echo being added to that pool and all of these top laners like Maokai coming back, he just has so many tanks now that it's actually rather lucky that his champion pool and the way that he plays on TL rotates around that, because just looking at this composition, triple AD carry, peel champions for the top laner and the support.
Counter Logic Gaming giving themselves a little bigger of a timer here in this game. It's not just going to end at 30 minutes for them if they're not ahead in this one. But Team Liquid now one up, using that confidence and the momentum to make their way into Game 2 in a very confident kind of mid-game to late where we thought they would falter against CLG for a Game 1 coming from Team Liquid.
CLG really didn't change much. They switched out their support. They changed their AD carry a little bit, and they couldn't pick their jungler, but the core of their team is the same.
Yep.
Exact same solo lanes, a defensive support, and a fairly versatile AD carry. Whereas you look at the side of Team Liquid, they also didn't change that much, aside from they have no assassin in the mid lane and instead have a higher damage wave clear champion, which would technically be even better for team fighting, which is where Team Liquid won the last game. So I think if they can play basically the same as they did in Game 1, Team Liquid would have the better draft.
Also looks like CLG getting those teleports back in as well. Let's try to make plays off of those. Once again, the coaches make their way to the backstage, and the players make their way onto the Rift. Update your Twitter votes while the getting's good. Hashtag TL win or hashtag CLG win if you know what's good for you. We'll update them, or we won't. We just see. Coming into Game 2 here, it is going to be Team Liquid up 1 game. Dardoch back on Kindred for this one, like Jet was saying. Pretty similar comps from both teams, so they should be comfortable coming in to start this one off. But the pressure is on the defending champions of Counter Logic Gaming to get themselves back in this series.
And when I look at the compositions here, TL, they're pretty much flat 5-on-5. You want to fight. You want to have some skirmishes with the Poppy and the Karma if you have those around. But then CLG's comp, it's kind of splitty, kind of low wave clear again. They do have the Lucian. But if you 1-3-1, your core of 3 is Soraka, Lucian, and Elise. Well, with the changes to Soraka, when you're running away from somebody and you have that Q on you, you actually get movement speed when you're running away from enemies.
Yep.
So that is a little bit more of a peel style for the Soraka, which it wasn't before. But I still don't trust that core of 3 to not get engaged on. It's really risky.
Mystical, magical auto attacks.
Aframu, much better. He gets to heal when he lands his Q. Super OP in that level 1 fight.
Of course it's going to work.
They both just get gold. They got what they came for. It's a gentleman's agreement. Support, get rich.
That spike of a core item for them is going to be great. Vision everywhere. So it'll be normal starts here. Are we actually going to get matched up lanes? Looks like towards the bottom side, Team Liquid will head. They wanted it last game. See if they get it on this one. Piglet on, however, Kalista this game, and Matt on the Karma.
Yeah, and Matt has Ignite, so if you go into that lane and you focus down Aframu, it's going to be actually a very good time for this bottom lane. I think it's actually really good synergy, too. You can get the root, you stack it up, you give her extra movement speed, and movement speed affects Kalista's speed of her jump, not the distance, but the speed of the jump, while she's in combat. So,
Oh, the mantra.
16 gold! Whew. That's like killing a caster minion as a support. That's the best day Matt's having.
Yeah, he's banking right now.
I mean,
We all know Matt. He's always wearing those gold chains.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
All right, so let's see what they got. Starting off, we are going to get a matched up one here. Definitely love this. We're going to see more action from Dardoch and Xmithy already. Dardoch, let's going to see if he can play a little game of cat and mouse here and find the spider.
The thing is if he sees this red and he thinks that Xmithy is just not going to do it, or how long is he going to wait here until he starts it?
Really early. He starts it. I think he could have waited for Xmithy to walk in, but there's a chance that Xmithy takes so long on the Raptors that he can disconnect his steal.
Boy.
No, it's his. It's going to be a steal.
Well, he doesn't have smite. They both don't have smite for pretty much the same amount of
Not
time.
in about a second.
You go!
Oh, he's going to peel it out. He's going to peel it out.
The smite's up
There
now.
you go.
Oh, now he could technically get aggressive, but yeah, he could have very easily got aggressive. He had mid lane pressure
Oh
as
my
well.
God! And he's got a scuttle crab on that side that's marked. that just tilts you as the enemy.
You know you can't, especially, yeah, it's Smithy's path goes down for him to waste time here and get nothing out of it. The 50-50 scuttle not worth, but for Dardoch, very much so. And it looks like he will have a good early game, which means lane stays safe for now. I'll be there quite soon with quite a bit of damage.
And Xmithy just walks the other side, tries to get the answer here. He's going to get this, no problem. Oh, but he's scared. What's Phoenix doing?
He thinks he's going to be getting...
Well, Phoenix walks
He's just being safe and pulling it.
He's just making moves.
It's so much harder to counter jungle when your laner is pushed into their turret, whereas Phoenix has the lane pressure right now. He actually abandons the red buff counter jungle. He's got to go back, right? He's got the deep wards.
Oh, Dardoch hopped over the top wall. He was not spotted by that ward on the right side. He's going to get a gank on Zion Spartan or Darshan from behind.
Yeah, and depending on the communication, there's a lot of superstition going on here. Xmithy's probably been calling out, where's Dardoch? So Darshan wouldn't expect this. Burns flash right away.
He marked him too, so kind of a dead giveaway at that point.
Hey, the mark could be a fake out.
Yeah, but the Poppy's charging me and I'm getting marked. What's going on?
Yeah.
It's like throwing the lantern behind you, except it was real this time. You're really crying wolf. 4 minutes in. Oh, the mantra cues keep connecting onto Aframu. He may be hitting some boots up real quick as he gets back in from that lane. And that's all you should be doing on Karma. Xmithy's going to try to relieve some pressure here in the bot lane as his Raptor buff sweeps that out. Piglet and Matt, pretty good positioning with the Defiant speed to get themselves out if need be. Dardoch still living in Xmithy's jungle.
He's got another mark. Oh, and that's TP from Huhi in the mid lane as well. So that's 2 marks really early on for this Kindred. That increases your clear time. That makes it so that you're much more powerful when you gank people. A lot of times you run around with 0 stacks for like 10 minutes.
We've seen it for 30 in the NLCS before.
That's true, we have. Oh, man. He's gotten more than that in 4 minutes.
Yeah. Lucker dog. A little bit of skill involved, too. He's got high map pressure.
Oh, man. Skill on that scuttle crab.
You got to know to go for it, man. It's 50-50.
Yeah, don't clear
Which
it.
side?
So just in case.
So Liquid aggressive still in the bot lane here, knowing Xmithy's not going to be able to do much. They're not going to give up this pressure. Keep trying to add it and harass Stixay onto the turret.
Yeah, he's 8 CS down already. That's a full minion wave and a little bit more. So that's just been constant pressure here. And this Karma for Matt just seems to be like the Janna for him, but, you know, less full disengage. It's more protection and a little bit of engage. But it's the harassment. It's the lane dominance that he goes for right now. It's the poke.
When we mentioned it last game, I think it really benefits Piglet to have that initial movement speed, a champion that can instantly speed him up. You know, they have a Lulu to protect him and whatnot. Now it's the Karma, and it works just as good.
This could be real interesting and very swingy. There's a challenging smite completed by Dardoch.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a smite up, though, so wouldn't matter if they do fight.
But he's on this side.
He's here first.
But he's going to get root.
Yeah, teleport into counter.
Oh, Matt's choice was awesome. Defianced himself and put himself in front of the cocoon. The team chases now with Lorlo's teleport. A few more hits. The Rend is early for the slow, and they couldn't add the next few. Here's the TP coming in from Darshan. He gets the tether from Matt, but does not get locked down. And Piglet gets hit up first. The counter comes from CLG. It's the counter logic of the gaming, and it's the one that works. Matt's going to be the next one to be finalized. An Afro move and picks up a little on that one.
And Team Liquid committed so hard to that dive with no way of matching what could be a double teleport to come back down at them.
Well, Huhi actually got to walk there.
Yeah, huge
Follow him
overcommit.
at all.
Yeah, I don't even think so. Huhi didn't have his teleport, but it's still the top lane teleport that can get you.
Yeah.
At the very start, they know Xmith is repelled down, so they think they can get him. But remember, they're fighting against a Soraka lane. Summoner heal as well as Soraka heals just pump him up so high. They take 2 total turret shots, one on the Lord, one on the Dardoch, and then Darshan comes in and Huhi walks in. At this time, Team Liquid just has to bail, but they completely overcommitted onto that early game.
Yeah, Piglet flashed, and he flashed after all of his spears had worn off. So he didn't actually have multiple Ren stacks inside of Xmithy at that point. If he had flashed a little bit earlier and answered Xmithy's flash immediately, he would have been able to continue stacking and then possibly killed him underneath that turret. Whew. So there's a little bit of indecision there. And it was like, am I flashing now? And then did it a little too late. But everybody was really committed to that call. The 2,000 gold lead for CLG really early in this game. And we know how they play with advantages. They like to run you around the map. And it still looks like TL wants to be aggressive bot.
I think they swapped this as well. 6A is going top lane. They're going to try and catch these waves pounding into the turret now, but not going up against that bot. 6A wants free farm. They get 3 assists out of that as well, so you figure they're going to have items up. They just may not want to do it. Keep it safe here.
This is, I don't think at any point during the first game did CLG have a 2,000 gold lead. And they have it already this early on. Not to mention, double TP is so good for running away with game.
Yeah. We waited, what, 14, 15 minutes until we saw that double TP play coming out at all. And that one didn't even work in their favor. So here really kind of putting themselves in the driver's seat and giving themselves the gold lead, not waiting for it to come out. Packages are up. We're going to see Phoenix go back and start grabbing those. So possibly something from TL's side soon.
And I think the biggest thing about that is the fact that Huhi was actually able to roam down and impact a lane that wasn't mid, because he is pretty much trapped in that lane with Phoenix. It's remarkable he was able to find the window to walk down there and Phoenix didn't take his turret or punish him out of it. Like, that's the biggest surprise about that entire fight.
I think Phoenix backed at that time to go ahead and purchase, and Huhi was left cleaning the wave, which normally when you're playing mid lane, you're like, all right, I cleared my wave really early, now I get to back, and they have to deal with clearing it, and Huhi just abandoned a little bit of it, ran down to help the team. And that's the Huhi that we always knew was the guy that wanted to roam to the side lanes and affect those lanes, not play through mid. We didn't see much of that last game, and this game he was just able to just walk it out. He didn't even have to TP.
Definitely working better for him. We were wondering when it would come in. CLG now matched on the top side by TL. What would be maybe some Rift Herald presence is kind of fizzled out there, and it's going to be a full-on fight if somebody wants it. The warding has been pushed into that blue side for CLG, so they definitely know where Dardoch is going to be. And we see Xmithy. He's looking for top a little bit here, or looking to find Dardoch.
Just to get back to lane once again.
Strong push to maybe move out once more.
Yeah, but Phoenix is just going to rush straight back. I think he has the package right now.
The thing here is Phoenix has the package, so for the short time, Team Liquid will have the mobility advantage if they wanted to counter a play that COD's going for.
Oh, they're going top.
Yeah, Huhi's on the roam. They technically know that Corky's on the way up here, and they know that he has package, so I don't think COG is going to be diving this one at all. They were gonna, but that's what the deep wards told them about.
They had those set up for quite a while as well. I think Phoenix read that early, and he tried to get back to lane to start pushing it. Uh-oh. Never good to be the caboose. The straggler always takes the post.
There's a Soraka, though.
Good cocoon there is forced to flash, but Lorlo comes in with the TP, looking to finalize the kill for the team. Is the communication there? The follow-up from the package from downtown. Phoenix from across the screen. He's the one taking the turret, and Aframu runs for the hills as they take down 2 members of CLG.
And Liquid strike back in one fell swoop there. Lorlo TPs, didn't even see that coming from the backside, and then immediately solos out Xmithy, and then Aframu on the side has to flash over. I love the ultimate too, because it put it on reflex there. Can Aframu heal this guy faster than we can do that last 100 HP?
You're tired of Soraka heals, hit the guy with Poppy ultimate, no one can target him then.
Then it's quick draw at that point.
No, that was a big mistake by Xmithy. They knew they didn't want that gank in the first place, and he overstayed his welcome by a mile.
Well, he saw Dardoch with that ward too in the tri-brush, and he just sat there.
Yeah, the whole start of this fight just shouldn't happen because he was thinking him, and maybe he comes up because Corky's not going to be able to dive, but they're still going to be outnumbered, and they still know that there's a teleport onto the Poppy.
Yeah.
So he takes a whole bunch of damage. The teleport from the Poppy comes in. Lorlo stuffs the dash by Stixay, which eventually leads to the later kill, and they can't quite keep him alive. The fact that he caught Stixay on the tail end of that Poppy ultimate really did him in, and they could not get quite enough damage down onto Matt before they can secure the double kill. But all of that started because Xmithy was in the wrong spot.
Yeah, and that repel was also really strange because he was repelling to make sure that his team could get to him.
And then he got closer.
Right.
Exactly. Everybody else closed in on him, and he had to abort it, but it still wasted time. It wasted valuable seconds.
You got to think of how long before that we talked about CLG pushing the wards up. They were prepping that. They'd move bottom to top to try and gain control. All fizzled out in one quick play as it did not work, and TL actually grabs the advantage there. CLG's gold lead is shut down a little bit, but they still are ahead, and they're going to be able to move quite easily off of this turret. Bottom's waiting to be dropped by TL, but that's because they also get dragon pressure out of this.
So, Kiwi Kid on the desk said, it doesn't matter how much vision you have if you can't fight him. Well, Xmithy went straight forward, cooldown boots and Sightstone. Doesn't have any part of his jungle item at all except for the challenging smite.
Yeah.
And Dardoch already has Devour. He's already working on another attack speed item at this point.
So you still can't fight him. But now
can't.
you also can't see him very well. No, they have the Sightstone this time, so it is still a viable build. I'm typically not a fan of challenging plus Sightstone because it's kind of like you started to commit to the duelist.
You want some
tree,
damage, but then you don't.
Then you realize you're actually going to lose the duel anyway, so you're trying to just bail yourself out by building a Sightstone. I also think Xmithy is the tracker's knife type. That's what CLG uses for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe he just got a little bit too bodied in that first game by the challenging smite and wanted to go at himself, but I actually feel like this is worse.
Speaking of bodied.
Cash curse, I'm sorry. Sorry, guys.
Didn't even get to use respite at that point.
Yeah, Chain's done. He had help. He had the assistance.
I didn't even get to use my eyes, it was so fast.
Yeah.
Because of the wards.
Well, CLG has not stopped
they
putting
mattered.
wards down in this area. Dardoch falls prey to the security system that CLG has installed in their jungle.
Well, this mid turret already below half. Down bottom, though, Darshan has had some time with that turret.
He's still got the Hex Drinker. Waiting for that to get popped out, but still, CLG is not letting up on the pressure here. This is kind of what Team Liquid did when they started to grab a gold lead. They made sure to strangle it out, and Counter Logic Gaming is staying right up in the face every wave to the turret here until they get something else. And it paid off on this. If you're pushed up all the time,
They had
you encroach in the
a
jungle.
lot of wards to set that one up. And that's the main reason they got the kill. Meanwhile, Dardoch did not have the vision control of them coming up.
I guess the Sightstone did matter for sure.
That's the Sightstone kill right there. It is.
It doesn't matter.
This is what we get.
It doesn't matter if he can see you, if he can't fight you, but
can
if
see
everybody can fight you.
So CLG now on the objectives. Dragon already taken by Team Liquid, so they were going that route last game. Most likely try and stick on that timer once again. Smithy just trying to solo this, so he's like, hey guys, anybody?
It's rare that we have that much silence at the Rift Herald that you actually get to hear the sound effect for hitting me high. That is a gross sound. Like, I just do not like it.
There you go. All right. There we go.
Had to mention it, I'm sorry.
Right in my eyes,
That's what it would seem like if you get hit in a giant eye. Ooh.
Oh, Dardoch looking for the stack. Actually, I was looking at Darshan's build. He went for the Dark Seal plus the Corrupting Potion. So just looking for efficiency there. It makes it incredibly efficient. It almost doubles the gold efficiency of Corrupting Potion.
5 stacks already for Dardoch. He definitely stays focused on it. He finds the windows to get in when the team doesn't need him. The lanes are pushed. They're able to pretty much get a breather here. CLG was just all up in their grill for the last 5 minutes. It seemed to slow down a little bit, though.
Yeah, still a very competitive game, and we'll still see both of these teams scaling up. I'm really interested to see the difference of having a Soraka in the team fight phase if we get there.
Xmithy's having way more pressure in this game.
The red buff tag on there that they wanted to try and do. But yeah, that's a really good point. Xmithy is definitely, even with the start, kind of getting routed by Dardoch. Didn't get as much as he needed. Dardoch was in his face. He's doing a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, I think his build path is just better this game. Last game, we spent a lot of time going double Thorns. This game, he's just gone for pretty much straight into the Iceborne Gauntlet, which is what he needs if he wants to have an extended duel against the Poppy. And I do feel like the Dark Seal is still a good aggressive item for the Echo, especially if he starts getting a few kills. I've seen Echoes get incredibly high AP numbers with that, as well as being tanky.
Yeah, and just a little bit of a duel here. There's Xmithy!
Lorlo just flashed on the last play, so Smithy flashes in for this one. Says, we'll get it this time.
Piglet's trying to answer, but I don't know if he's going to get there in time. So yeah, just going to have to clear out the Krugs.
Can't answer that one, and that's really the culmination of what we've just been talking about. Darshan, you give him an inch and he can take a mile. He had 20 CS, he was first to Iceborne Gauntlet, and they're able to punish with a nice follow gank from Xmithy.
Yeah, and you were talking about the Dark Seal, and Echo, oh wait,
Hey,
hold on.
Phoenix!
He has to walk through it.
He's going to have a 2v1 for a second. Dardoch's not really there to help him out with too much mana, and they may have bitten off way more than they can chew. They thought it was going to be an in-and-out job, and it is definitely a let's get the hell out of here. Made a mistake. They have lost Phoenix already, and CLG almost looks like they want more. Darshan's going for the pressure so the team can get the turret.
We spent all the first game praising Team Liquid for their patience and how they were never overcommitting for something on CLG, and then almost as if seeming to make up for something, Phoenix just goes in wildly.
Phoenix with
the teleport.
His trademark, I make play. And no, not so much this time. CLG was on top of that play and almost on top of 2 turrets now. A second tier push here in the mid lane. And it looks like they are thwarted for now. 44 seconds onto Dragon, not wanting to blow too much more in the way of spells. They're going to back up.
Yeah,
Be prepared.
It's a 2.6k gold lead. It's only 1 turret down, 4 kills from that Dragon for TL, but honestly, this Soraka is helping out a lot in the side when they're actually getting catches too, because he's getting the slows for the follow-up, he's getting the silence, which takes you off guard. Silences are some of the most jarring CC in our game because you just lose control of your abilities.
Right.
And he's using the skin that also puts it makes it a little darker, a little greener, so it's harder to see it. It's not that gigantic blue thing underneath people.
It's one of those
Soul
things
Reaper.
you don't play against a lot, and the half second or second it takes you to rethink the situation.
That's too late at that point.
Way too late. Not enough time to be doing that in a fight.
You can also use it pretty well to stuff a Callista ult coming in, because if it gets thrown on top of it, you can't cast any spells to follow it. A little hypey, but they got back up. Piglet, oh dear.
I'm gonna go the other way. You go that way. Oh no!
And we're both dead.
They both split up. They both get taken down. Kills going to Xmithy. And Darshan as CLG now starts to own the map, something they really looked to do in game 1. Just couldn't achieve it.
We've been seeing CLG zerg them down this game. We see 5 people in the bottom very early on, 4 people come back down to go on 2, and CLG, they're not doing that split. They're just collapsing over and over again.
Yeah, a lot of times when teams lose one game in a series, you have to decide whether or not it was because you played poorly or it's because your strategy was wrong. For CLG, I feel like they had faith in their strategy and they're just executing differently this game. The core of the team composition is the same, with Darshan on Echo and Huhi on Rise, but this time, instead of just always swapping back and forth, they're swapping and then doing an and one. They're sending more people down to the swap to punish people as they try and extend for farm, and it's resulting in a very solid game 2 from CLG.
And along with this composition we saw last game, everybody getting away, disengaging in fights. They have that Elise Cocoon now. They have a little bit more lockup, and they're able to secure the kills, not watch them walk away with 100 HP. Much more bloody game on both sides, 8-2. Liquid actually falling one more time this game. Only tied once last.
It is actually a really good point. Because of the Elise, it actually makes it a little bit more fluid.
Xmithy's had much more of an impact.
In getting those picks and having the team assist you. So the Cocoon versus what Nidalee would have brought to the table, I don't know. Because Nidalee's incredibly powerful, but it's so strange that you would say Nidalee probably wasn't as good of a pick.
Yeah, well, this time when Dardoch is just out farming and trying to take the Rift Herald, well, Xmithy was setting up kills or setting up Dardoch on its way to the Rift Herald, which then has given CLG theirs, because he's still fairly heavily getting out farmed. He had to go with the more defensive path of going the Sightstone, but it is paying off because he's been able to combo with his solo laners. Always the delicate balance a jungler has to have.
It's one of those things you have to tell yourself, I'm helping carry. I'm helping carry. It's not I'm being carried. I'm helping my carries carry.
You guys keep telling yourself that.
Don't you play support?
Hey, he has to carry. Calm down.
I have a big heart. I'm a nice guy. All right, back into what's happening on the Rift here as Liquid making a very, very good story for themselves to come back in this series.
Yeah, but CLG, defending champions, they want to get back there to those finals.
That's what did I say Liquid? I meant to say CLG.
Oh.
Thank you. Trying to make a quiet point. Like, this is going to be big. Then I mess it up.
CLG also the number 2 seed, so based on playoff seeding, they would be the favorites coming into this matchup. It's just Team Liquid looked so good in the quarterfinals and took game 1 of the series. that it's still up in question. But if CLG is able to continue this one, we're going to be in for quite a good series if they get tied up 1-1.
Ready for that. We had a great game going on over in EU, all the way to the scrapes. Let's get it back over here in NA. So again, Matt upgrading to Eye of the Watcher.
Teleport from Darshan and from Huhi. Big fight.
Lorlo
Teleport up as well. That's going to be in the mid lane. Dardoch. Dardoch goes bye-bye.
Oh, this is
There's
huge for
no
CLG.
ultimate from Kindred on this. Piglet's going to get hit. Matt can't help him with enough Defiance Shield, and it looks like they are once again scattered. CLG has not found Liquid, and this is a good thing, in a grouped fight. They're always getting 1 or 2. They're picking them off and then doing what they want.
Yeah, just a massive engagement there from CLG. They execute the double teleport, and it was so crucial that they could chain the CC onto Dardoch to stop him from being able to use his ultimate. And that just made everyone else on Team Liquid done for. They did not have tank lines set up. CLG could teleport him behind them, and now they are forcing this Baron with confidence.
Full Baron. All members are up for this. They're going to use it accordingly. The CLG loves to be that team to split push. They have more than enough reason to now. Let's see that one more time. TP's all over.
And that was Flash Cocoon from Xmithy onto the Silence from Soraka, so he couldn't even use Lamb's Respite, and then they just focused Piglet on the right side because Lorlo TP'd onto the left, so they sectioned him off. So Matt was supposed to be protecting Piglet, but the Karma doesn't have that intense peel that a Janna does. You can't really get that many people away at once.
You kind of have that one quick spell, and if that didn't break you loose, well, fend for yourself.
You're like, run, run!
I have no more for you. So where do they decide to go from here? Counterlogic Gaming now completely in the driver's seat. Is that a Mage Eyes?
Yes, it is.
Is that what you were? I was like, what?
Mages.
I heard it. Where is it?
It's the upgrade path for the Dark
It
Seal.
is the Dark
This
Seal.
is what you
Yeah.
do if you're crushing Go.
Everybody I talk to about Dark Seal is usually just like, yeah, you just sit on it. If it gets stacks, it gets stacks. It's fine. Upgrading it to Magize is not very cost efficient, but Darshan went for it.
It was either Smeb or Someday in the LCK who did exactly the same thing. He was crushing the game, he went Magize, then he died and sold it like it always happens, but he still did it.
I mean, he's Echo, so if he plays it right, he's got 2 lives.
Yeah.
Oh, looking for Xmithy.
He's got to get over to Matt. There we go.
Down.
Oh, that package!
Phoenix a little too far forward, right in the Lamb's Respite. This is going to be a tough one. Everybody's going to pop as that goes down, and it's going to be Xmithy first. Piglet, no, yes! He gets the mat. That's rather Stixay, and they're going to push this fight out now. Lorlo taking a bit of damage on the outside, flashing forward for the Poppy, and he gets just that popped out of the fight. And now CLG once again standing in front of a turret they can take down, and who he feels he can add even more pressure to this. So Team Liquid's going to be forced to back and possibly even now give up an inhibitor turret with the Baroned up team. CLG going hard. Stixay under the turret goes down, but in a valiant effort, his team looks to clean up this fight, and there's the kill, the phase dive from Darshan as they head back for the inhibitors.
18 stacks, boys. He's going big. That's a huge fight, though, for CLG. Once again, the package was amazing from Phoenix, but CLG just had such a big goal lead, and I actually did not like Dardoch's ultimate in that fight. I felt like it actually kept CLG alive more than it did Team Liquid, and this is almost the inhibitor for CLG on.
Oh, Afro. Oh!
Oh, that's the shield. Making him clench, goes down after move falls to the floor, and it is going to be Liquid trying to repair the base now. They're going to have to stop the bleeding. Counterlogic Gaming so strong in these fights.
There were a couple moments in that fight where it's that old school, I'm helping, where Dardoch puts down his ultimate, but also Matt gave Xmithy a repel out. Walks to the left, perfect repel space, and oh man, that's the Elise dream right there, where they have to recollapse on you right here. Throws him in, and then he walks to the left instead of up, when you know Phoenix is going to try to get there first, and Xmithy gets saved by, oh man, it gets saved by Dardoch for so long too.
And Huhi was able to sit in that ultimate with a lot of safety as well, while just DPSing Team Liquid, who is very healthy. I know that Dardoch has been getting pressured very heavily this game. The burst potential from COG is very high, but they really could have used this ultimate later, and it hurt them in the moment.
Yeah, because the last few times he'd been silenced, and he would have wanted to use it or cocoon.
Exactly. So he wanted to get it out early because he's been so heavily CC'd. There's a lot of things that stop him from being able to cast it.
You don't want to be that guy where you haven't used your Kindred ulti in 3 fights. So.
It always seems so dangerous as well when you're the team that's behind. When you throw that down, it always seems like the stronger team has time to kind of think about what they want to do next, right? They're already going to win the fight. They made you pop your ult. they just have a chance to see how they're going to do it, so it makes it that much more dangerous.
A lot of the time,
when they're up.
Depending on the opportunity, if a lot of your members are low and they're at about medium HP,
Yeah.
popping it is so good because then you get them into your danger
Yes.
zone where you're able to destroy them afterwards. So then it becomes that quick draw thing where can you rend right at the moment? What happens? Who gets what spell out? But that one was just flat out saving Xmithie for a long time where he probably should have died off of the rappel coming down, but Matt gave him a good spot. So
Where do they go from here? Around the horn it is. It's going to be Darshan to the top. The rest of the team to the bottom here as they take out the last few outer turrets. Still looking for this inhibitor in the mid lane. It looks like it's going to be the next thing that they go for. Back here from Suhi. He's got himself a Guardian Angel, kind of sticking with what last game was.
and I wanted to look at the
ability power.
the ability power because what I was going to say before when he had the Dark Seal and why it's such a good buy
for
on Echo,
Darshan. Yep.
Yeah, on Echo is Echo has actually already been tuned more towards being AP as opposed to tank. It happened when the tank jungle Echo thing was happening and people were buying Cinderhulk on it, so it was tuned towards that. So the AP ratio is actually really high. I think it's like 130% on your shield. So it's supposed to encourage you to go AP so that when you throw out your W, you're tanky even though you're an assassin. But now he's a tanky assassin top laner and he doesn't even need his W, but it's just the damage that he's able to get from that. It's tuned towards AP ratios, and because he has so many stacks, it's so devastating.
It's one of the reasons this hybrid build is so ridiculously effective is because he is now getting the AP ratio for the shield and his self-heal from his ultimate, and then also getting the double benefit from having the armor and magic resist to make those heals and shields more effective. So it's kind of multiplicative on itself right there. And Darshan is an absolute monster, which is what Azael was saying on the analyst desk he would have to be for them to win this series. And this has been an example of Darshan kind of putting his team a little bit on his back. The split push pressure, the rest of the team hopping on, helping him out, and it is definitely a team effort, but Darshan, the beneficiary, 507, 18 Soul Stealer stacks.
Gotta make it happen. Everybody else as well, adding inefficient damage and fighting correctly behind him to make everything work together right now. Sitting on a 10,000 gold lead, CLG's biggest so far.
There they go!
Series, it looks like could be the ending gold lead. A Fate's Call forced to come out pretty much because Piglet went down so fast. And now they're going to be on to the rest of the team and turrets. It's just which one they decide first. Taking a bit of damage. Locket goes out so they can mitigate it, and now they're going to be in.
Whoa.
A good hit coming out of Lorlo could really defy this. Taking the base. Darshan's very low. Huki will fall on the backside to Dardoch in the end of this one. And it's going to be the Guardian Angel that comes up, which gives the rest of CLG some time to move forward and start to get that damage down. The inhibitors are now something they can
kill him.
grab.
Oh, wait!
Soraka! Where's the focus?
Isn't even
there?
there.
There it is. The kill coming in. What a mess inside the base. CLG figures we actually need to just get the objectives here. It is about 40 seconds on the clocks for the death timers. So they do have a bit of R&R to deal with, but Matt's not going to let them wait too long.
Apologies, tilted by the Soraka. Just expected the heals to come in early. It was actually a summoner heal that kept him alive, but what a chaos. What a chaotic team fight. Very much chaos. Go for it, Cyrene.
Much chaos. Such fight. Yeah, I was actually very surprised that Xmithie was the one that Lorlo started to dive at the start. He just tries to barrel through the fight and go straight after him. It's a little strange. And then Phoenix gets saved again. Good ultimate from Lorlo. That's the type of fight that they need.
Yeah.
And Aphromoo dies there.
Good ultimate from Lorlo. Good ultimate from Dardoch. And I think CLG was willing to get a super aggressive because they knew they killed Piglet at the very beginning of the fight. But there's still technically 2 marksmen on Team Liquid, which makes it fairly dangerous to go in. And Stixxay absolutely takes too much damage from the turret there before getting stunned in. And CLG, they have a very strong pole position to win this game with 2 inhibitors being down. But there's still some risks if a great Poppy ultimate comes through in a team.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the items here. We have Ardent Sensor for Aphromoo to increase his his AD carry, and also just even Darshan and everybody on his team. And then we also have Zeke's Herald for Xmithie.
This is a fully stacked Magi Soul Stealer, by the way. All 25 glories.
I went old school. It's Harbinger. Not bad.
Yeah, so it's
I wasn't going to come back.
Yeah, thank you, Rip.
a bonus 125 ability power just from that item. So you can say that Darshan,
So crazy.
he is already 3,500 gold ahead of Lorlo. That's not counting the insane efficiency of a max stack Magi's.
Oh, and he gets that 10% movement speed as well from it.
And his passive, he's already fast.
Yeah.
Already super fast. really synergizing and build together. You don't get a chance to do this very often, so when you do, put it right in that inventory. 6-0-9, and like you said, Jet, definitely living up to what Azale was saying on the desk. If they're going to get through a next game, there's got to be some star power from this guy.
Yeah, and he's going to set up a split push right here, which is going to be, I think, mostly unanswerable for Team Liquid. Team Liquid's going to try and rush to 4v5. Darshaw's teleporting in from the backside.
Oh, but Dardock got rooted so far forward.
Lamb's respite is down. Xmithy is right in the front, and they're going to pop Dardock immediately. There goes Matt. Next falls Phoenix, and it just collapsing like dominoes. Piglet's going to be the next one. Lorlo tries to hammer one home, but he misses through. And they're going to hit the nail in the coffin. CLG takes down the final member of Liquid, and they're going to finalize this game.
And without missing a beat, CLG back on their feet. They're going to even up the series 1-1, but it's going to take them a bit to close it out. They need these minion waves. And
yeah, you could see the setup on that play was Team Liquid had very few options, so they went all in. You can't fault them for the end of this game, but CLG with a much stronger performance here in Game 2 to even the series and make it basically a best of 3.
Absolutely a much better game coming in from Counter Logic Gaming. Much more definitive in the win, and they take Game 2 over Team Liquid.
Some of those 3-2 predictions on the desks are getting closer and closer to being a reality.
Yeah, we knew these semifinals were going to be some of the most competitive semifinals we've ever had coming into North America, or at least that's what we thought was going to happen. And looking at this series in particular, we really thought Echo was going to be a huge priority in this series because it's the one champion for Darshan that fits the tank meta that he can also carry and split push on, which is why it was so peculiar that it fell in the draft in the first game. I don't think that's going to happen again. Team Liquid had the chance to first pick it, opted not to instead for the Kindred, and that did not pay off this.
I was very surprised by the Kindred because I know Dardock likes to play Lee Sin or Gragas into Kindred just to destroy them and get them outside of the ultimate. So the Kindred first pick was a little strange. I know that Nidalee was banned out, so maybe they wanted to pinch the champion pool a little bit, but he still had the Elise in his pool on Xmithy's side, and he was able to come up big with it and affect that early game very heavily. So the draft, little all over the place and giving up a lot of priority here for Kindred, which I don't know how high that is up in Xmithy's pool.
I think another small wrinkle would also be the Soraka coming in. Not many people have experience playing against Soraka.
Very
it's one
true.
of the big reasons Adrian could be so successful with it in the regular season.
No,
it's also in a very it's in a very strong state right now as well. And the bottom lane matchup here, Piglet did not have any type of teamfight impact this game. Some of that came from the lane.
Thinking about the bracket, these teams probably scrimmed Immortals across the way. So CLG was probably like 1-2, let's practice. Well, Afromul,
picking up some Sorakas.
Plays everything.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Let's send it over to the analyst desk to see what Dash and company make of that CLG win.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. 1-1 in the series, CLG evening it up. Yeah. And, a lot of it did come from that Darshan, which was called out. An impressive scoreline and performance on the Echo for him. Before we get into the actual play of the game, though, I do want to go back through Champion Select because we saw some minor adjustments. Nothing too crazy from either team. That Tristana ban still coming through. Yeah. But the Echo, the Rise, and then we saw Xmithy jump to the Elise, which was more effective after they banned out the Nidalee.
Yeah, I mean, suddenly you're not in a situation where you're like, you have to hard farm to make it work. Like, you can do things with the Cocoon Ganks and whatnot, and that was really solid. We got stuff going. But the big thing I really liked, though, was CLG picking a lot of champions that were good into Kindred, most specifically Soraka, because when you go really hard, as Kindred, you're like, okay, as long as I don't get one shot, we're good. I'll just press R and it's fine. But you haven't basically insta-cast AoE silence where you can no longer do anything about that. So Cocoon hits you, silence hits you, you're rooted afterwards, like, you don't get to press R and live. And then also what's also fun is that even if he does get the cast off and your team just kind of gloms into the circle, you get 10% health, you chill there, you turn invincible, and then the heal comes out, you're all below 40% HP, which means Soraka does more healing. That's how Wish works. So there's just some nice synergies to picking up Soraka in that situation. And even though Soraka's not a hardcore playmaker, Afro got to make some high impact plays because of his champion choice.
All right, now let's jump into actual gameplay. 6 minutes into the game, we already had a bloodier game, essentially, than the previous one. So we're going to pull up a replay here, and Kiwi, I'm going to let you run away with this. This is Liquid going on the offensive here after the gank.
Kindred was doing Golem, was ready to counter gank, and this is really good. This is a really great position. A great teleport by Lorlo. Unfortunately, he starts with the E. Instead, he should have walked forward and just waited for Xmithy to flash, and then flash after Xmithy, and then use E. You can play it a lot better by saving your gap closes early. Now, Team Liquid overchased because I think they were kind of salty that they missed an easy kill, and unfortunately that led to their demise. And I feel like after this, they were kind of a bit tilted now because what came from a really good position ended up in a 0-3. So that's a really devastating to have.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those situations where you're like, this is free, like we have the TP, Lorlo is able to come in behind them, but he kind of botches it a little bit. Then they're like, okay, it's fine, we'll just get him anyway, right? And it all goes bad. And this kind of comes back to what we were talking about before the games. Darshan had to go big for his team to win. He's able to pick up a kill, first blood, mind you, and 2 assists there. He was already up on farm, and that allowed him to really snowball.
He even already had Darksteel, so he walks into late with 4 stacks on Darksteel with like, thanks for the 12 AP.
After that, he was like, I'm going to get a Magi.
he
already knew.
Once he capped out Darksteel to 10 stacks, doesn't go any higher. Let's buy him a Magi's, cap that one out too. And Liquid, honestly, you see him on your screen here. I actually have to give some flack to Phoenix as well, because Phoenix had just recalled on his Corki, and like Rise shoves the wave and walks down, and at no point it seems like it's Phoenix like, Rise is coming, he's gonna be behind you 4v5, like, stop chasing.
Wait, Freak, where's Rise?
Coming from mid lane.
Okay, I got it. Now
down the river.
No,
Attention.
It is a very good point. I mean, the collapse from CLG came through after the overcommitment for Team Liquid, and then, as you mentioned, that kind of set the stage for the rest of the game. It seemed like Team Liquid didn't really know where to go from there. I mean, that's a lot of gold handed over very early on into the game. Echo going big. We saw a change in the build this time around. As opposed to starting Doran's Ring 2-pot, he went for the Dark Seal into the Corrupting Potion, which seemed to serve him a little bit better. We saw a CS discrepancy grow there. Now I want to jump a little bit further into the game, though, because the game still took a little while to close out. We're going to go to about 21 minutes into the game, a 3-for-0 for CLG in the mid lane here. That nets Baron, and it's off of a Team Liquid attempt at a turret.
Yeah, and this is really interesting because it's as we get the game started up here and the flank comes in, I'm going to wait for the actual fight to come in. Yeah, it's a double TP flank, trying to get the positional advantage. Poppy matches pretty early, and that's all cool. And yeah, just Dardock. Immediately silenced. Doesn't even need the teammates there, right? That's what this rocket pick does for you. Just gets you in on that one right away. Lorlo is in the backside. Okay, he pushes out Rise. That's cool. But the battle line's already broken, right? You already lost like one of your highest DPS champions. In fact, Dardock did the most damage to champs on his team by a significant margin. He gets one shot. It's not even a 4v5 anymore. It's practically a 3v5 where no one else just did anything.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, it's like, yeah, Soraka is this kind of passive laner and stuff, not traditionally like a playmaker, and the plays that you make aren't necessarily flashy, right? But the fact of the matter is, there was multiple times that game where he was able to get in position, coordinate the CC, land the silence, and actually allowed them to kill off Kindred before he gets his Lamb's Respite off. Yep. And that actually just solo wins the fight. Has Kindred, if he gets his ult off there, that could be completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, CLG on your screen here. I mean, they're going to be happy having tied the series up 1-1. I do actually want to jump back to Dardock, though, Freak, because it was something interesting that we mentioned was the way that he's playing Kindred and the fact that he was able to get up to 5 bounties pretty early.
Yeah, some really cool things, actually, that Dardock did, sort of playing around the bounty system. So what ended up happening, and I'll give him credit as this is intentional, and if you're a Kindred player, do this intentionally from now on because it's a really good idea, he invades really early into the top jungle and fights for the red buff. Now, what this means is because he won that fight, you've now skewed the jungle. Instead of Smithy getting like the top, middle, and the right-hand side jungle, and Kindred gets her side of the jungle in the bottom left corner, instead they've now swapped. And now Elise owns the bottom right and the bottom middle, and Kindred owns the top, middle, and the far left, which now means half of all possible jungle marks that like Kindred can spawn, because they all spawn in enemy jungle, are now his to take.
Right.
So, okay, he got lucky with the first one. It went on Scuttle Crab right underneath his feet. Congratulations, stack number 1. And then now he has access to Krugs and Raptors, and the next mark spawns on Raptors. And Elise is already down, stuck in the bot side of the jungle, so she has to equalize the jungle situation.
Right.
And so this being intentional means that now you have a much higher chance of getting easy marks as Kindred by just changing the landscape of the game. And I recommend all Kindred players try to play this way. Split the jungle half and half.
Right. Of course, it does run the risk of not getting any marks if they all happen to spawn on the other side. But
it's
you're
an
essentially
expected value proposition.
Exactly. In all scenarios, you could still expect that you will come out with more marks than you would have previously.
And I mean, if you invade and you die, you just start spam ping missing on your mid laner or your top laner. Where's the team at?
Blame the team.
Where's the team at? Where's the support?
I think it was just luck.
Yeah, that's all it is. We're gonna go ahead and throw it down to luck there. We'll keep it dialed right in here because in just 3.5 minutes, we'll follow Counter Logic Gaming and Liquid back onto the Rift for this Game 3 of our semifinal series. Stay with us.
Dude, look at our match history. Our match history is so clean.
Yeah, I have deaths on all of them.
Oh, not me.
He gets the tether from Matt, but does not get locked down. And Piglet gets hit up first. The counter comes from CLG. It's the counter logic of the gaming, and it's the one that works. To finalize the kill for the team is the communication there. The follow-up from the package from downtown. Phoenix from across the screen.
Kindred is too far from me. I'm closer. I'm moving to him, guys.
Yeah.
All right. They ulted me off.
Carmen no flash, you got him, Darshan. I got him.
And they're going to push this fight out now. Lorlo taking a bit of damage on the outside, flashing forward for the Poppy. They're going to pop Dardoch immediately. There goes Matt. Next falls Phoenix. Much more definitive in the win, and they take game 2 over Team Liquid.